Alright, so we're here today interviewing Mr. Long at Long's Board Shop. How are you doing today?
Good, and you?
Doing good. So, how long have you personally been skating?
I started skating in 1984.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in 4th grade, and that's what started it all.
Quite an early start.
Yeah, it's been a while. We feel old.
Have you personally been in any skate competitions?
No, I actually think of skateboarding much more as like an art form and a means of expression. So I'm not as much interested into the competition aspects of it.
It's more personal enjoyment.
Exactly. But running a shop, I realized that there are all different types of skateboarders that are into it for all different types of reasons. So even though I don't necessarily subscribe to it as a competition, I know that some people do. So we do host competitions and we do throw competitions on a regular basis because I know that for some people that's very important and a way to build community within the skate scene. So
when did you first have the idea of opening a skate shop?
I think I always wanted to open a skate shop as long as I've been skateboarding. As a kid in the 80s, skateboarding was very unpopular.
Yeah.
In fact, it was through most of the 90s as well, but in the 80s, if you got skateboard equipment, it was really like the corner of a bike shop or some sporting goods store. They might have a few things.
Yeah.
And so I always just had this dream that it'd be great to have a shop that was just for skateboarders and snowboarders where we could get everything we needed. But really, it was about 10 years ago that my wife Sarah bought me the domain name for Long's Board Shop. So it was kind of, that was our, like, it's when we decided we have to pursue this dream. So by owning that, we were like, all right, this means that eventually we really need to make this happen. And spent 10 years not just researching the business aspect of it, because even though I knew a lot about skateboarding, it's the whole business side I had to educate myself about.
Yeah.
And then just, you know, making sure we had all our ducks in a row and saving up money and things like that to make it happen.
How long did it take to prepare this specific location to be able to open?
We looked at probably like 10 different places as possible rentals, and they all had pluses and minuses. We really just fell in love with this one because there's so many windows.
Yeah.
It's very easy in a retail location to get somewhere that's very deep and just has a little window area in the front that kind of seems cave-like. So we liked the open space of it, and also that there was very minimal amount of work that we had to do because we really wanted a hard floor, and this had a nice concrete floor that we could just go with. We didn't have to tear up any carpeting or anything because you can't test out a skateboard on carpet. So we, you know, took out some cabinetry that was here because it was a coffee shop and then a makeup store.
Wow.
So there was some cabinets and stuff around, so we took that out, we painted it up, did some work, and it really wasn't too bad. We did it in about a month and a half, 2 months.
When did you first open? When was your grand opening?
Our grand opening was in April of last year.
Nice.
So this spring was our 1-year anniversary. We had a celebration here for it.
What's your favorite part of owning a skate shop?
There's 2 things I'd say. All right, I'll go with a lesser one first, and then 2 big things.
All right.
Every time I open up a box from a delivery, and it's like a box full of wheels or trucks or whatever. It's like Christmas all over again. I'm like a year and a half in, and it still doesn't get old to like open it up and just see all the skate stuff. But the 2 things that kind of remind me why I wanted to open a skate shop is one, when I put a new setup together for somebody and they can't even get in their car outside. They have to like push around the parking lot and ride in the parking lot. Like, it's great to just look out the window and see their excitement as something they were able to buy here that they're having fun with right away, and they can't even wait till they get home. They have to try it out there. The second thing is we have a first board wall because you never forget your first skateboard setup. Yeah. So anybody that buys their first setup ever, we take their picture in front of our deck wall and we post it up there and we post it on our Facebook page. And I just love seeing like passing on skateboarding and for people to to get to try skateboarding and to see him get into it for the first time and get a good setup.
I got my first board here, and that was the first thing I did was hit the parking lot.
Yes,
So.
yeah, I love seeing that over and over again.
Yeah.
It's great to see.
How many people did you have to hire to run this shop?
Fortunately, none. That's part of our business plan. Is it's just Sarah and I, just my wife and I.
Awesome.
So our idea was Sarah works full time here, so she was ready to leave her job for a better schedule. So we decided that she would be the one of us that left our job first. And she works here while I'm at school, teaching, and then I come here as early as I can to relieve her and take over from there, and we both double up on the weekends, which tend to be the busier times.
Awesome.
It's been helpful to not have to have payroll and to hire people right now. It allows us to kind of the shop to run a little bit smoother without that additional expense of employees.
Definitely. So what specific items do you sell here in the shop?
For skateboarding, we sell everything you need for both traditional skateboards and longboards. So the decks, the wheels, the trucks, bearings, bolts, grip tape, everything you could possibly need for both longboards and skateboards. We have all kinds of additional accessories like headphones and phone covers and clothing. Sneakers are a big part of the skate community, so we've got a full sneaker wall. Hoodies, hats, socks, you name it, any of the apparel that you need. And then, for snowboarding, we have the same thing. We carry snowboards, bindings, boots, the helmets, the goggles, everything you could need to be snowboarding as well.
What are some advantages of owning your own shop?
Well, when it comes to ordering, I can always make sure I have my favorite stuff in stock. So that was one of the big things, philosophically, business-wise, that we went with. When you look at our wall, we carry a lot of brands. Because when I have spent all these years going to other skate shops and kind of making mental notes of what I wanted to see in a shop, very frequently shops will just carry maybe 3 brands of skateboards.
Yeah.
Which makes business sense because you're buying more from just 3 companies and you can get kind of a lower price on it because you're buying in bulk. But the thing is, if one of those 3 companies is not your favorite company, you're kind of forced into a good board, but not one that's necessarily your favorite. So one of my big pushes was just to try to get as many companies as we could in here, even if it meant that it costs us a little more because we're not buying in bulk. Because we might have 150 boards here, but they're from like 10 different companies, right. So it's being divided up. But I wanted to make sure that anybody could come in and find a board from the company that they like.
So everybody finds exactly what they like.
Exactly. I don't want to just force my personal style on everybody that skates in the area and make everybody skate the brands that I skate. I wanted to have a real diversity. So being able to do that and just make sure that there's the diversity in the scene that skateboarders want and naturally have.
Yeah. So has this been a fast-growing business?
Yeah, I've been pretty amazed in this year and a half how much it's grown. When we had the 1-year celebration here and we're taking pictures, we pulled out some of the pictures of our opening day celebration. And it was amazing. The shop looked empty in comparison to what we carried. Like, we're carrying so much more now, and it's just because we opened up with what we thought was going to be good and what we could afford based on our budget, and we quickly started to realize what people wanted and expanding our lines, and the business went well enough that we could get things in that we hadn't originally started with. So I'm pretty impressed with how quickly it's grown and how much the shop has changed just because people have been supporting it. The shoe wall, there's so many more brands on the shoe wall now because people have been buying shoes, and that gives me the opportunity to bring other brands into the fold, and the same thing for all of our clothing.
So there's been a pretty big difference between your grand opening and your 1-year celebration. Is there anywhere you wish to be a year from now?
No, I hope to just continue a nice, steady growth. I don't want to outgrow and try to grow too quickly.
Right.
I want to contain it and make sure we continue to grow, but we do it in a controlled way, so that we can keep expanding and keep supporting the skate community and keep growing this business.
Yeah, makes sense. So, what's been your most successful form of advertisement?
I think it's incredible how much social media and the internet has really revolutionized the retail industry.
Yeah.
If we opened, even just 10 years ago, when we first decided we wanted to eventually, we would have been looking at radio advertising, we would have been looking at more newspaper advertising and things like that,
Right.
All with price tags, all with limited reach. Now, everybody's on Facebook.
Right.
Everybody looks things up online. So by putting together a good website, by putting together a good Facebook page that we're updating constantly, by using Twitter and Instagram and all these different social media outlets that are more or less free, with the exception of the time we have to put into it, it's allowed us to just reach a far greater audience than we could with traditional advertising methods.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, word of mouth is always king in any business. And if you treat customers right, they tell their friends about it, and they tell their friends. And really, word of mouth, people, as much as ratings and things on the internet or Facebook will help you, your friend telling you to go check this place out is always the most pertinent, personal way of advertising.
I always get compliments on my board. People like, oh, it says Long's Board Shop on your grip tape. Where's that? And I tell them where it is, and they're like, either, oh yeah, I know where that is, or they're like, oh, I gotta go check that out sometime.
Exactly. Skating with your friends, and we have a skate team, and those guys are great for getting word of mouth out, even a step beyond that, because people go up to these guys and they're like, see them ripping it up at the park or at some street location, and they get up talking to them, and they can see that they skate for our shop. So having a skate team has also been incredibly helpful to get the word out.
How many people do you have riding for locals?
We've got 6 people on our team. We've got Tyler, we've got Adam and Richie from Biddeford, we have Chase, Seamus, and we just added Francis a couple months ago. It's our newest addition.
And do you have a mission statement here at Long's Board Shop?
I do. We have, I actually call it the manifesto. But the summary of our manifesto as a skate shop is that everybody in the board sports, skateboarding and snowboarding, are brothers and sisters. We're a big family. This is a family-owned skate shop. I've got my family name on it, Long's Board Shop, and we're all a family. And when you come into our shop, you shouldn't feel like you're going to be judged. You shouldn't feel like you have to be cool enough to shop at this store. You should feel comfortable at it. Your family should be comfortable coming into the shop, because I know if my mother felt comfortable when I was a kid coming into some of the skate shops, it would have helped me out greatly as a young skater to have a shop that my mother felt comfortable coming in with me as well. I might have gotten more of the skate stuff I really needed. So we just really want to make it a family shop for the skate family and the snow family.
So a lot of that comes from personal experience.
Very much so.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.